Grab a pint, grab your lineup. We're about to tap into fantasy. Welcome back to Tap Into Fantasy, the podcast with a professional fantasy mind and an amateur beer palate. I'm Lance Gandy. You can find me on X at LG_fantasy. So this is going to be an abbreviated show as I've been traveling all week. There won't be a beer review this episode. I'm just going to do a short Love 'em or Leave 'em segment where I go over a couple players I love and a few I hate. Before we get into all that madness, a toast to all those unfair fantasy gods. May the best drafts of your past be the worst of your future. Let's tap in. Hey, real quick, before we jump in, go ahead and hit that follow button. I know you're sitting there pretending you'll remember later, but let's be real here. You won't. You'll forget, you'll get distracted, scroll TikTok, and then wonder why your life feels so empty. So yeah, just hit follow. I'll fill that emptiness. Okay, so like I said, I'll be giving you two players I'm hyped about and two players I'm definitely not for the Week 10 slate. This is Love 'em or Leave 'em.
It's Love 'em or Leave 'em, darling. Your fantasy lineup just got a little sexier.
So I'm trying to dig somewhat deep here to bring you some lesser owned players that could be nice flex plays this week. The first is Rashid Shaheed, fresh off the plane to the Seahawks. I have a ton of stock in rookie Torrey Horton, and he's been looking like a baller lately, but Shaheed should limit him to be wide receiver 3 or 4 on the team behind Cooper Kupp. He also randomly popped up on the injury report today, so it looks like he's not going to be out there, and Cooper Kupp is even questionable. Usually when a receiver gets traded or signed midweek to a team, they play just a few snaps because they don't know the playbook, so they get like a few scripted routes for them over the course of a game. However, Shaheed literally played for offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak last year. He knows this playbook. It should be a pretty seamless transition, and I think he should play at least 40 to 50% of snaps this week. He should be able to do work on those snaps because the Cardinals' top two cornerbacks, Will Johnson and Max Melton, have both been ruled out for Sunday. Expect them to shade safety help to JSN's side, so Shaheed could have a few deep passes that could win you a week. So Devin Singletary is the fantasy equivalent of that leftover slice of pizza you swore you weren't going to eat, but you end up grabbing out of just pure desperation. Desperation you could have this week with 4 teams on bye and injuries piling up. May Tucker Kraft's fantasy soul rest in peace. He outsnapped Tyrone Tracy 32-25 against the 49ers last week, and he was just more efficient with his touches. Like, what's more surprising is that in a trailing game script where you'd expect Tracy to be featured as he's an explosive receiving back, Singletary still got the love, including both red zone touches for the backfield. The Bears defense gave a masterclass in social distancing against the Bengals, so Singletary could stumble his way into a respectable fantasy day. Alright, before we get into the duds of the week, let's take a quick break. This episode is powered by Dubby Energy. It's my go-to for a clean boost with zero crash and zero jitters, whether I'm grinding out drafts or just need that mid-afternoon push. No junk, no guilt, just focus. Hit the link in the description and use promo code TAPINTOFANTASY for 10% off. Dubby brings the energy. You bring the winning picks. Okay, we're back. Duds. The milk kind are delicious. The football kind are stinky. Breece Hall has faced 2 top 15 defenses in EPA against the run and has scored 5.9 and 7.2 fantasy points. He now gets the top defense in EPA against the run, the Cleveland Browns, and I'm assuming Justin Fields will be named the starter again after he led them to their first win last week. He did that against a Bengals team that seemingly gives up 30-plus points to everyone now, but the week before, he was about to be benched because they had scored 17 points total the previous 2 games. I expect something more like that with Myles Garrett and company coming to town. With many of the Jets' defensive stars now on different teams, you can expect a trailing game script. And oh, yeah, the Browns have given up the least amount of receiving yards to backs also. Stay away from him this week. So, Marvin Harrison Jr. had a breakout game last week, shaking Deron Bland just out of his shoes for a nasty goal line touchdown and had a 32% target share. He's shown these flashes occasionally through his first 25 career games, but he's still just been a top 24 receiver in 11 of those 25 games. This should be a lower scoring game against the Seahawks, with the Cardinals projected to score just 19 points. Seattle just wants to put a lid on things with a too high shell most of the time, and Harrison Jr. has just a 19% target per route run and 1.41 yards per route run against those looks. They've been suffocating teams lately, allowing just 14, 19, and 12 points the last 3 weeks with some key pieces back from injury. Jacoby Brissett has been named the starter for pretty much the rest of the season, and while that's mostly good news for Harrison Jr. in the offense, he does tend to hold on to the ball too long. That led to 5 sacks from the Cowboys, who had just 15 in the 8 games before that. The Seahawks, the rare team that can rush 4 and get home quickly, with 27 sacks in 8 games so far. This is just going to be a long day for Harrison Jr. in this offense. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of Tap Into Fantasy. If you liked what you heard, make sure to like and subscribe. It helps the show find other degenerates like you. Hit me up on X at LG_fantasy or email at tapintofantasy@gmail.com with any start-sit questions you have. Thanks for tapping in, and until next time, happy pours, happy scores.